All right, welcome back to the Blender 3.0 Docwalk. Okay, so I'm going to give you a really quick rundown of Blender's history, so you don't have to read this, but if you do want to, it's actually pretty fascinating. So, in 1998, Ton, I think, is kind of like Tom, but with an N, Ton Rosendahl. It's either Rosendahl, or Rosendahl. It depends on, I guess, dialect or where you're from or whatever. But he co-founded Neo Geo. I'm sure many of you remember Neo Geo. So Neo Geo was a multinational, had multinational clientele. They worked with several big names out there like Philips. And in 1995, Ton rewrote their in-house software, which would later become Blender. In 98, Ton founded NaN, or not a number, as in, a play on computer logic, which was a Neo Geo spinoff. And the reason that they did this was for continued Blender development as a free cross-platform compact 3D application. In 1999, NaN's first SIGGRAPH conference was a big hit. A lot of people became highly interested in Blender. And in early 2000, NaN got a 4.5 million euros from venture capitalism. And so with 50 employees, Blender 2.0 was released with an integrated game engine, and their user base exceeded 250,000 by the end of 2000. NaN's ambitions and opportunities, however, did not jive with the company's capabilities, and they hit a wall. They had to restart with new venture funding and a smaller company. In 2001, Blender Publisher was launched, which was their first commercial software for web-based 3D media. It didn't sell well, and it was not the proper economic climate for that product at the time. So the investors came in and they shut everything down. But because of the enthusiasm of the user base and the support of the user base and the user community, I guess. But, start that over. But because of the enthusiasm and support of the user community, of the user base, and of course of the Blender Publisher owners as well, Ton started a nonprofit called the Blender Foundation in 2002. They purchased the Blender source code and property rights, and they released Blender to the open source community. They raised 100,000 euros in only 7 weeks, and on Sunday, October 13th, 2002, Blender was released to the world under the GNU GPL license. So, to this day, Ton Rosendahl, with his team of volunteers and developers, continue to produce what we now know of as Blender. Okay, so that's kind of my short and condensed version of what you would read here. Go ahead and reread it if you want. If you want to kind of get some more of the detail, go for it. But I'm pretty sure I got just about all the major points there. The rest of this page is revision history, kind of when different aspects and add-ons were released and different functionalities, that sort of a thing. So if you're into that sort of thing, go for it. It's not really my cup of tea, but if you think you can garner something from that you think would be useful to you, go for it. All right, next. We'll just read this really quick. You have the right to use the program for any purpose. You have the right to modify the program and have access to the source code. You have the right to copy and distribute the program. You have the right to improve the program and release your own versions. So that's about that. You do have to provide a copy of the license in the program so the recipients are aware of their rights under the license. You have to include the source code to make the source code freely available. If you modify the code and distribute the modified version, you must license your modifications under the GPL license or a GPL compatible license. You may not restrict the licensing of the program beyond the terms of the GPL. You may not turn a GPL program into a proprietary product. If you want to learn more about it, go to this website. The link's right here. I said I wasn't going to go over this, but I did anyway, just because I realized that, you know, I'm sure there are people out there that might not know what open source means, or what all the different licenses are out there, and what the different you know, commodities for each license are. Okay, let's hit the next page. All right, Blender community. I will see you in the next video, and we will go over this.